Well friends, today we're discovering the Tardion Yachts T24 Spacedeck, a boat with an overall length of 7.27 meters and a beam of 2.55 meters, making it perfectly trailerable. We'll now take a walk on board to discover the layout, but as always, remember to like this video and leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's check it out together. At the stern are two structural platforms separated from the engine. The engine is the Suzuki DF300, which also represents the maximum installed power. But since the shipyard offers so many custom solutions, they can easily adjust the minimum power depending on the layout and therefore also evaluate the minimum installed power for the customer. Notice how the boarding ladder is located on the starboard platform. The boarding ladder is inserted here on the deck and folded down to take up as little space as possible on the deck. This makes it incredibly easy to move around the stern area, as there are no obstacles except for the double handrails that make it easier to exit the water. A second handrail can also be installed on the port side of the swim platform upon request. This setup also includes a support for the water skiing, which is obviously optional. Upon request, we can also install a central platform to partially cover the engine compartment, allowing for easy movement from one side to the other and using both platforms completely independently. Immediately forward, the sofa is centrally located. This sofa has multiple functions, thanks to this central support that can be moved to different levels toward the bow, providing not only an extension of the sofa or a chaise longue, but also a truly comfortable rear sun deck. Furthermore, there's access from both the stern and the bow for maximum convenience. From the stern, we can directly access the deck systems, while toward the bow, an additional container is planned to provide an additional level of counter space, further increasing storage space, and above all, being quickly accessible directly from the cockpit. So let's get on board. I'll show you the double corridor since the layout is symmetrical, so we have two identical entrances on both sides. Here we note the mooring cleat positioned directly on the gunnel, and entering through the corridor, there's this small step for greater protection in the event of stern waves. And look here, we arrive at the cockpit. The cockpit is unobstructed, so we can move easily throughout the entire aft area of the boat. Furthermore, the entrance corridors are also equipped with lockers, providing access to the large compartment. Two convenient containers are also planned for this area, providing additional storage space. Also note the height of the bulwarks, which are more than generous from the stern, reaching up to my hip, so we're always well protected inside the boat. This grab handle also comes in handy, being quite generous, offering full support even to those with less experience on board. And as I mentioned, there are no obstacles on the deck, so we can move easily anywhere in the central area of the boat. Now we come to the helm station. You see there are two independent seats with dedicated bolsters, so everyone can choose their preferred layout and configuration. They can not only rotate 360 degrees but also slide back and forth or adjust their height, so everyone can have their own personal configuration. So I'm at the helm. The steering wheel supplied by Gussie, so really excellent quality, with embroidery here, with the name of the shipyard, and I'll show you the dashboard. The dashboard is completely configurable here too at the request of each user. The configuration you are seeing is the one requested by an owner, so we are evaluating the choices of a private user. With a Suzuki display mounted on the side and here in the center the presence of the provision for a multifunction display. But as I mentioned, we can customize every instrument layout, including the on-off switches arranged on two levels. Here, the windlass controller is positioned separately to prevent accidental activation, and we also have the bow thruster controller, which this boat is equipped with. The power lever is moved to the starboard side, along with the start and stop controls for starting the engines, while the HMR20, supplied by Hertz with the stereo system, allows for optimal sound anywhere on the boat. There are plenty of convenient and practical storage pockets below, as they can accommodate practically anything, including documents, all of which are protected from any splashes that might reach the deck. Also note the truly optimal visibility for this category, as the windshield is low, reaching chest height, thus providing good protection from the headwind. You see, I can monitor everything that's happening around me 360 degrees because the T-top uprights don't obstruct my view, so we can easily monitor what's happening around us. Optional T-top. Here we have the base of the structure. And look, it manages to offer protection all the way to the stern area. The entire helm station and even the forward portion of the console, so truly more than generous protection. While here, on the sides of the gunnel, we find the water tank filler cap and the one for discharging the toilet waste. And speaking of the tanks, they're housed here under the deck, making them very easy to access in case of ordinary, extraordinary maintenance, as all you have to do is lift the manual hatch and you can have direct access to the water and fuel tanks. So we move towards the bow. You can also see the double step forward here, so the boat's layout remains symmetrical. This sturdy great handle, crafted from a steel profile that runs the entire perimeter of the console, comes in handy. But we can also use the T-top uprights for a firm grip. Here we find an additional mooring cleat. And note the width of the forward step, which remains constant. There's a small step in the center to provide more space inside. But we can easily walk around the bow area while still remaining well protected, as the bulwark is still higher than my knee, allowing us to reach the bow area. The bow area features a truly practical and comfortable living area, featuring a very comfortable two-seater sofa positioned in front of the console, which pairs well with the one that runs the front perimeter of the boat. So we have this front lounge where, if needed, a central table can also be mounted to create a dinette, or an extension with a further extension of the front sun deck is available upon request. Beneath the two-seater sofa, a hatch provides direct access to the cabin. This is very practical and convenient, not only for providing an additional exit in case of emergency, but also for providing privacy within the cabin. It also provides plenty of light and responsiveness, but we'll see that later. Beneath the bow cushions are 3 independent lockers that can accommodate practically anything, with the central one providing direct access to the hull and also being very convenient for storing safety equipment such as fenders to keep the deck perfectly organized. Finally, I'll show you the bow's front padding, which provides comfortable back support. The rail too has a unique design that allows for maneuvering with the mooring cleat, yet still offers full support, as we have a firm grip, as I mentioned, anywhere on the boat. Finally, inside the bow is the hatch that conceals the anchoring compartment. Manual anchor provided with standard, but upon request we can easily install a windlass here directly on the fiberglass stand with an anchor exiting inside the hawse hole. This anchor isn't directly visible from the helm station because it's hidden inside. However, if necessary, we can easily install a camera so that a single person can perform all maneuvering operations from the helm station. Now back to the stern. I'll show you the opposite passageway because, as I mentioned, it's symmetrical, so we can walk on both sides. Also note the EVA flooring provided as standard, which provides excellent grip and above all minimizes maintenance. And let's go inside. The cabin is accessed on the port side of the helm station via a sliding door. We noticed that upon entering, there's a first step to reduce the height difference, and look here, immediately in front of us is a very practical and comfortable double bed, especially because there's generous headroom in this first section for this boat category. Above all, as I mentioned, the shipyard leaves plenty of space for customization. This Alcantara configuration was requested by an owner, but the standard option is exposed fiberglass painted like the rest of the boat, for greater cleanliness and practicality, and above all for greater interior light, which makes the space seem even more spacious. Below the cushions are lockers for increased storage space, while below I can show you the hatch that provides privacy inside. I can easily close this aft section of the cabin access, thus being isolated from the rest of the dock, without anyone seeing me inside, while still being able to take advantage of the light and ventilation provided by the hatch above. This aft area is completely modular, as it isn't present in this layout. However, we can easily install a toilet with its storage compartment containing a sink to create a cabin that can be used for cruising. Or, for example, it can be customized by requesting the installation of a refrigerator to always have cold drinks on board. Finally, I'll show you the internal headroom because, look, I'm sitting comfortably, but I can keep my back straight. I don't need to bend over, because there's more than adequate headroom for this category of boat, and above all, there's plenty of space to relax, as I can stretch out freely. You see, there's this initial depression, but the headroom is still more than generous. So, we have a boat with an open space exterior layout, but above all, there's a cabin that can be perfectly used for short cruises. Since there's also provision for installing a toilet, and with the refrigerator, we can obviously always have cold drinks on board. Therefore, excellent for daily outings and rental. So, dear friends, this is the Tardion Yachts T24 Spacedeck. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook page. Leave a like and tag people you think might be interested. And as always, we always see you here on the C Team for all future videos.